right. I may have someone else, but okay. He's coming in and he's saying that that he was just feeling so awful and so rotten, and he knows that all of you are really around and with him with a lot of love. But finally, in the end, he hated to go, but he said he just had to let it. He said he just had to let go, but he's feeling so much better now. And there's something about a ring. He's saying something about a ring. That there's something about that he wants you to continue to wear this ring, and even to sleep with it or have it under your pillow, because he'll be having some messages for you with that, and he's going to be kind of along guiding you and helping you, and also saying that after you've had a period of grieving, and he's saying he's a little bit vain, he wants you to grieve for a while over him, but he's saying also he did have a little bit of a sense of humor, but what he's also saying is that in about another year that you are going to find somebody else, and he's going to kind of help in that. But in the meantime, what he wants you to do is to kind of hold on to this ring or this piece of jewelry, and that there will be a time that you're going to put it away in a nice, safe place, and that will be close to when you're going to be meeting someone else. But that's nothing for you to think about now, but when that does happen, he will have a hand in it, and it'll be blessed. So I hope that helps you.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that.
I'm glad to help.
Thanks a lot, Renee. We're going to actually go to caller number 2, but Tony's actually going to talk to you first. So, Tony, you have a call.
2 questions.
Wait a minute, you have a call. Get the call first.
Call? Okay.
Yeah, get the call first.
2.
2 questions. Caller number 2,
Caller
you're
number
on.
2.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
I have 2 questions. First question is, who does the psychic think will win the election in the fall?
Oh, boy.
Okay, you know that's very interesting, because that came up the last election, and one thing that I do like to, I know of psychics that do like to predict this, but I do have strong feelings, and I sometimes think that can kind of cloud my judgments. I sometimes do better in calling local elections where I don't have so much emotionally invested in that. So, I mean, I could say Barack Obama and throw that out there, but on the other hand, I do have some strong feelings, so I sometimes think that may cloud it. Although a friend of mine predicted him for the last election, and I asked him how did he know, and he said that Abraham Lincoln told him, and he's a very, very gifted medium, so, but he was more neutral on that, so sometimes it's better to get someone that's a little bit more neutral to answer that kind of a question, because we do have our feelings.
All right.
Okay. And I got one more question in that.
Sure.
Say, you think the Steelers will win a Super Bowl?
I'm thinking they have a very good chance of that. Once again, emotionally invested, but I think I do feel very good about that. And what I will say is that, and this is just off the top of my head, is that while so much has been put on Ben Roethlisberger, is that now the powers that are being realized, you can't put all of that in one basket. So what is going to be happening is that there's another one waiting in the wings that's going to be every bit as good. So they won't have it all on one quarterback. And that this person is going to come up and be a surprise and make things happen. And I don't know who that is, but there is someone waiting in the wings that's going to be a very good surprise for the Steelers.
Okay, and I like their show, so you keep broadcasting over there.
Well, I'm going to keep trying. We'll
Take
be
care.
talking about that later on tonight.
Bye now.
Thanks for calling in, and I guess we're going to have Annette answer the next call, and then we have questions from the peanut gallery from Tony. Annette?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, this is Diane. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we were expecting you.
Now, I have
gosh.
a question. How about the lady beside you, Annette? What does she do for a living?
Oh my goodness.
Who, Janet?
Yeah, Janet.
Janet.
Then I have the other questions for the other two ladies in a minute.
Hi, honey. My name is Jan Martinez, and I'm from Los Angeles originally. There, I worked in the entertainment industry, where I worked for a couple of TV shows that were on some major studios. And then I got into a motorcycle accident where my attorney, who's on the end of the panel here, she took me back to Pittsburgh for a beautiful Thanksgiving, and I fell in love with Pittsburgh. You have bridges and tunnels and weather. So I fell in love with it, and I decided to move here. And what I actually do for a living was I worked in the entertainment industry, but I also do other things like read palms. And if you have a hand, I can probably read it. So bring your hands to me, and I'll be able to read your palms.
Go read my brother's palm and see if he's going to get a
Hey,
job.
no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Read your palm.
Okay, so do you want me to read it now?
No, you can read Annette's palm.
Okay, I'll read Annette's palm.
If she lets you. I don't know.
All right, let me turn on my little magic.
Isn't it good to be involved?
Why
Reader
are
here.
you
Volunteer
being in
people.
there? Hell, you need her to see if you get a job.
It says here
Hey.
that she's in the PCT TV studios in Pittsburgh on the Humanity Matters show at 6 p.m. live. That's exactly what it says. Actually, no, there's
You're
more.
bad.
You have things like commonalities, like lifelines and headlines, which means how intelligent you are the further over the line goes. Your hand tells on you whether you want it to or not. And you can see the history of the person, you can see the future of the person. But you can also change the lines on your hands by changing your mind anytime you want. If you want to create love in your life, you have to make the mindset of, I want to create love in my life. So you do. And then you look at your hand and you look at your love life, and you have someone who can read palms like myself. Now, I've been reading palms since I was 17 years old, and now I'm 126 years old. So I've been reading palms for a long time.
Almost as old as hell. I'm a trillions old. I'm trillions of years.
This is the hand you write with?
Baby.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Here we go.
Hey,
Now.
126.
No.
She's a baby.
You have had a very serious stop in your life, almost like you had a past, like an out-of-body experience.
I did?
Uh-huh. Yeah, you did. You had an out-of-body experience, and you came back. You were very misunderstood growing up, but people liked you anyway.
Yeah, people like.
Mm-hmm. And the long, see how long your lifeline goes? It goes all the way, so you're gonna have a long, beautiful life.
Oh, thank you.
And your career is one major career coming from the God finger, which means that you this is probably your career that you're going to further, and
Yes.
you'll stick with for the rest of your life, and it will exceed. Let's see, it will go all the way till the time you retire. Mm-hmm. Now your love life. Let me see what that is. Okay.
Uh-oh.
First of all, okay, your love life.
Uh-oh. This
Now.
is where I bail out, America. I'm out of here.
Let's
Tony,
see.
come on over. Oh, help.
I need a little help with the. Let's see.
I ain't saying nothing, people.
Okay. Now with my glasses and my magnifying glass, I can actually see Alpha Centurion.
Oh, goodness.
Probably see
That's
Russia.
a good joke,
That's
though.
right,
That's a
Russia
good
too.
joke.
Okay.
Can you see Jupiter? That's where I'm from, but anyway, forget about it.
Okay, your love life. You have had love for a long, long time, and then there were a few suitors. 1, 2. You also, every time you have a triangle on your palm, it means you have ESP or extra sense about what's going on that particular level. For instance, you have known when it was time to either stay with the person or leave the person, or there was another person that walked in the room and you knew you were going to be with that person.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Let's see, what else? These are just topical things. I can go into layers and layers and layers of things. Now, the headline, which is the intelligence line, the farther over the center line that goes all the way over to the palm of your hand, which is right here, the farther over it goes, the more intelligent you are. And you're very intelligent.
Wow,
Very
thank
intelligent. You're welcome. And you have also taken off in 2 directions of intelligence. I'm not sure which you would know which ones those were, whether it was college or whether it was a certain thing you wanted to do in your lifetime that you're achieving now. That's what I think, because that's the furthest one over. That would mean that you have vast knowledge of that particular subject. Okay, you want anything more?
No,
Oh, Jan, just to let you know.
Yes, sir.
Whenever I tell her she's intelligent, she yells at me. I keep telling her that, she keeps yelling at me. See, she pulled all my hair out. Like, no, see, the lady on the phone, my sister did, actually, when I was 7 years old. But we won't go there. So, you know what? I think it's
No,
time.
I'm still here. Can you hear me now?
We still hear you. Quit doing
Now,
that
how
stupid
about
commercial.
the lady beside the psychic? What does she do?
Oh, yeah. I'm not responsible for my
Got
callers
3
either.
people on here.
You mean the young lady to the left of the left?
The lady beside the lady with the
The lady behind
glasses.
that's Michelle.
Well,
That's
ask
Michelle.
Michelle. Say, ask Michelle a question.
Michelle, what do you do for a living?
For a living. Well,
Yeah, are you a psychic too? Do you read Sylvia Brown's books also? The other one don't like Sylvia Brown. I think
Oh.
Sylvia Brown's better than her.
You can get me in trouble. Don't say that. She did not say she didn't like the woman. She never said that. Okay, let
Go ahead,
Michelle
I want to
speak.
hear what this other lady got to say.
well, no, I don't make my living as a medium or a psychic. I'm by trade. I'm an attorney. I do family law cases. By belief, I subscribe to the beliefs of the spiritualism religion, which is that there is life after death, that we are spirit inside of a body, and that there's a purpose and an opportunity and a gift that life is to have each one of us personally be responsible for our own growth and development and support the growth and development of the people around us. So I'm here to support Sarah and Jan and to speak more, I suppose, technically about what the tenets of spiritualism are. And what I do in Pittsburgh is that I have a nonprofit company that's called the Forum for Economic Development, committed to producing jobs for everybody, regardless of gender,
Give my brother
race.
a job. He needs one. Go help him out. He doesn't have a job.
That's
Go
what I
help
do.
him. And
Oh,
happy
good, you
birthday,
can help me
Chris.
out there.
But go help my brother find a job. All 3 of he needs one.
Okay, Diane, we're going to move forward
But
before you
know
get me in
what?
any more hot water.
The question is how many years you've been in business? That psychic woman, Rose, wanted to know this. Rose is not here, but she asked me to ask the psychic.
Oh, my
Okay, I've been
goodness.
gifted since childhood, but I've been developing it in recent years.
Wow.
Do you do
And
your own reading about yourself?
pardon me?
I didn't hear you.
Do you talk about yourself, when you talk about, you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea. I think she wants you to speak about yourself or something, she said.
Okay, well, I have been spending a number of years developing this gift here and in Lilydale, New York, which is, as I said, a spiritualist community, and have studied with a number of teachers because there's more to just having the gift. There's certain ways that you need to develop it, and there's certain ethical guidelines and and different ways to learn of the discipline of mediumship and being psychic. So this has been an ongoing, and it's part of my own spiritual journey too. Now, as far as your brother is concerned, he needs
I'm
to
in
be a
trouble.
little bit less picky.
Good.
There's I think
So he keeps on saying he don't have a job. So if anybody there has any contact, go help him. How about the
Wait a
palm
minute.
reading? That palm reading needs to help my
That's
brother
not
find
fair.
a job.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Don't
Happy
do that to a
birthday,
man on
Chris.
TV.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know if this will help,
Uh-oh.
but I just, the word
less
kind
picky.
of parks came into my mind, that there may be something in some sort of recreational
down,
field
y'all.
that has something to do with playgrounds and parks that he may want to check out. There may be a connection there, but I just shoot them out as I give them, but that's what
Okay.
Spirit was telling me to tell you for your brother.
You hear that now? Go do what she said.
Okay, Diane, we're going to move forward now.
All right, Al, you wear that
Good luck to
seatbelt.
you.
Everybody
Move
wear
forward,
that
move forward,
seatbelt
move
Like
forward.
you always will say.
She's not gonna
Remember, tell all these people wear that seatbelt.
Okay, move forward, everybody.
Okay, we'll talk to you tonight.
Oy,
We
oy,
all
oy.
love you too. Bye.
Bye.
So,
Bye.
I have
okay.
a question for
Wait a minute,
Michelle.
I want to say something. Okay, go ahead, ask Michelle a question.
Michelle,
Because we
you
got
said-
Tony yet.
Michelle, you said there's life after death. Have you seen heaven?
Have I seen heaven?
Yeah, have you seen paradise?
No, not that I can recall.
Oh,
Okay.
But I have seen spirit.
You probably have seen it,
Sylvia
just you can't
Browne
wrong.
claims she's seen paradise, and that it actually exists.
But we're not talking about
There are
Sylvia
many,
Browne.
many psychics who've had that experience and shared it, whether they've
Yes.
written about it or
Right.
not. In fact, there's a book right now on about how a little boy saw heaven and is actually doing very well on the New York Times book list right now.
Well,
Who
when
came
I was
back.
5 years old, I almost drowned, and I saw a beautiful garden.
Oh.
That's the out-of-body experience I was talking about.
Is that
There
what
you
you're
go.
talking
That's exactly right.
about?
Bingo.
Yes, ma'am, when you
So
were
I
very young.
visited heaven
There you go.
It's up-
Very
I'll show it to
likely
you.
that
It's very
you did.
likely
see this?
that you had some
See how it
experience.
because
goes?
a 5-year-old couldn't describe and imagine something like that so vividly, right?
Yes, that would be your out-of-body experience.
Yes,
Yeah, when, mhm. Yes.
Well, I
I saw it
think-
in your palm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm going to ask a question of Sarah right after we go to Dangerous Tony. No, he's not dangerous. All right, Tony, you have 2 questions, and then after you're done, I believe Susie will probably have a question. Do you have a question, Susie? Well, come up with one. Come up with one, because as soon as he's done with his questions, it's your turn. Everybody has to ask a question, or else I'm going to have a question. Why didn't you ask the question? Anyway, go ahead, Tony, you're up.
2 quick questions. When people die, they see a light. Can you comment on that? The second part is, what is our purpose here?
Oh, boy, that's
Okay.
a big one.
There is a tunnel of light that people walk into when they pass over, and a lot of times when people have near-death experiences, they start the trip there, but somehow get called back, and it's very, very difficult. And from past lives, I have like little glimmers and flashes of having passed through there, and you see the loved ones waiting for you and encouraging you to come, or else they'll tell you to go back, which gets to the second question about your purpose here. And that's for everybody. That's a very personal journey that everybody takes. Now, one thing that I will say, and there is controversy in spiritualism about past lives. A lot of them disagree, but what I have, from my experience and talking to people, it's kind of like you may have a purpose, but if you don't meet it, or if you keep making the same mistakes, you're going to come back and you're going to have to do it all over again until you get it right. And in that way, and I think that falls in line with the purpose of your life. I think that this is the purpose in my life, is that because mediumship to me is a very high form of healing, and it really extends out into all other areas of my life. So, but I think it's a personal journey for everybody, and the journey is actually the great part of that, that discovery. So pretty much, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, now, something you said, I won't say it bothers me, but it's kind of, I think to myself and probably a few audience members, and I'm talking about the audience out there, it may be a little bit confusing in the sense that, you said everybody has a purpose in life, but that's a personal thing. Now, my question is, what happens if people go through life and they never find out what their actual purpose is? What happens then? How do you go about, what's one way to go about finding out what it is? Do you have any suggestions?
They come back. They come back.
That's
and,
no fun? Is that why I'm 11 trillion years old? I kept screwing up? That must be
it's
reason.
not quite as easy. It's a very complex thing, but
Right.
people go through life aimlessly, and many of them may, because
Yeah,
they're careless or reckless,
right.
may come to an early ending of this
Right,
life.
right.
They will be coming back, or say
Oh,
if someone
boy.
loses their purpose and from drugs and alcohol or that sort of thing, and they never get it, and they leave this plane, then they're back, and they've got to deal with that all over again.
Oh, boy.
Until they get it right. And
But-
I think it's true with a lot of people that do have the substance abuse problems, is that they
Wow.
come back until they get a handle on it, and many of them do, actually. I really do believe many of them do that.
So now, but the other thing is, when you have a past life, okay, 98% of people who've lived before never realize that they've lived before. So if they were doing something wrong and didn't know their purpose then, and they don't learn it now, I mean, what could someone do? What are some of the things people can do to try to find out what their purpose is? Is there like a spiritual guide that they can do to try to find out what their purpose is? Because, I mean, if you're having a past life and you don't remember any of that, so it's kind of like you're going to keep screwing up and you don't know what you're doing wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, I think
so is
that-
there any kind of guidance or anything?
Well, there is. I think as people become more evolved from going through this,
Okay.
what I call the karma journey, is that that people have dreams and this
Right.
sort of thing, that glimmers of things, or say like, this is so familiar. This isn't just my whole life, but why does
Right.
this keep happening? And that there are people that do past life regressions,
Okay.
and that helps people, and that there are different forms of meditation where you could actually do that
Okay.
yourself. There are various people, like there's a wonderful Lilydale medium by the name of John White who has taught classes. He does that. He's taught classes on it, and he has a CD that you can get, and it takes you through several meditations
Okay.
about that. And in that way, you may not have the whole thing come back, but you get little bits and pieces, because it
Okay.
not only tells you about the destructive things, but maybe you were maybe you used to interview people back in the colonial times and write articles.
That's
And
possible.
so that would show that, well, you have the gift for talking to people and putting it on the air because it's something you've done a number of times before, and people find out what their talents are from some of these past life experiences too. So it's something that works both ways.
Okay.
Sarah,
Well,
do you have a spirit guide?
Yes, I do. In fact,
What's her name?
it's a him, and he's a Native American, and he's got a very, very long name that I've never learned to pronounce. But I will say, what I'll say about that is, when I went to a reading